done is done. Past is the past. Happened, get over it. Nothing we could do about it. Or is it? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, whichever side of the screen that I have it on, as well as the bell. So anytime any new content is uploaded, you're going to be the first to know about it, you guys. But I'm super excited about today's video. This is just one of those, for me, one of those really fun, like rabbit holes that we love to go down, where we get off into quantum physics and manifestation and all these different really cool theories and practices. But today, you guys, we are talking about your ability to rewrite and change your past. Yeah, I said that. Rewrite your past. We're revising. This is the quantum law of revision. And this is one of Neville Goddard's practices. So we're going to get off into that. Very exciting stuff. So do listen out. You guys are going to actually go over a few techniques that you can do to actually put it into practice, to actually do it for yourselves, as well as a few really inspiring stories of individuals that have put it into practice, and just some of the stuff is just really mind-blowing, you guys. So let's get into today's video. All right, you guys, so just to like start off, right, just to say, like, when I first heard about this theory, I'm thinking like, okay, so maybe it's just on like a psychological level, right, where, you know, you think about something in a different way, you feel better about it, and therefore, you know, it heals you psychologically or whatever. Like, that's what I thought. But actually, like, researching and hearing a lot of the different stories is not just on a psychological level. Like, there's actual physical changes that have occurred for people to revision law into practice. For most of us, including myself, you know, we all do that, right? We have memories, and those memories can be positive or negative, that we will replay in our minds that we don't really want to align with, right? As we talk about manifestation and we talk about the, you know, the 5D and aligning with the version of yourself that you know, is preferable to you. A lot of times us replaying memories, negative memories in our minds, literally is giving those memories life. No, it's live. We visualize it, we see it, we feel it emotionally, we could hear the sounds, remember the environment, everything, right? And then it's from that, you know, Neville Goddard talks about, and we already talked about with manifestation, a lot of it is visualization, it's emotion, it's feelings that you feel. Now, if you're remembering something that already happened, still you are aligning yourself with that memory, or assuming whatever that is, right? Now, you know, from the point of view of maybe a more negative memory, it could have been an argument, it could have been anything, right? That doesn't make you feel as empowered as maybe you would have preferred to have felt in that situation. Neville Goddard says, whatever you think and feel with emotion, okay, that imaginal act, right? Even if you are imagining things from the past that happened that are legitimate memories, okay, those imaginal acts, giving that memory life in the quantum field. For example, and I'm just going to use this as an example because I think it's one of the probably easier examples to give. Like, let's just say that someone grew up really poor and just had a lot of really negative, bad memories, feeling less than, and some of those memories have stuck with them. Now, maybe presently they want to align, or they are aligning with one that is more affluent, more successful, but they still have these painful memories of the past of growing up very impoverished and just feeling disempowered and things like that. By those imaginal acts, unintentionally, that person starts to plant more of those seeds. So they're realigning with that version of themselves that felt maybe less than, or had less, or, you know, felt that money didn't grow on trees, or whatever those different thoughts and feelings are, that bringing those memories to life with the imaginal acts of emotion and visualization. They're like basically replanting those seeds, okay, and realigning with the version of themselves that maybe was, in a state of lack. Whatever you believe and align yourself with, the universe will continue to bring more of those experiences, more of those circumstances into your bubble, into your personal bubble, your personal field. It doesn't always have to be negative. Let's just say it's something that's positive, right? Maybe you'll get more experiences, more circumstances, more opportunities brought into your own bubble, your own field that reinforce that, right? Like how we talk about like the lucky syndrome and the this and the that, and whatever you feel, whatever you believe, so it is, okay? And the universe will continue to align and adjust itself continuously to reinforce whatever it is that you believe. If you believe XYZ, okay, where you're going to have certain experiences, things that pop into your bubble that is going to reinforce your belief. Okay, you guys, so there's a few different ways that you can actually put this into practice. This is the first way, and the more preferred techniques to actually put this into practice. Neville Goddard talks about like doing like a daily revision. Okay, so you could do something that happened a long time ago, or you could do daily, actually revising your day, literally when you lie in bed at night to kind of like rethink your day, like visualize it out from scene to scene, right? Whatever that could be, right? Everyone's day is going to look a little bit different, but before you go to bed, you actually kind of like think back from your day from beginning to end, and basically almost like cutting it out from scene to scene, right? And how it is that you would have preferred different scenes to have gone, okay? And then with those scenes, you think about really like however it is you would have like preferred. From that, you actually loop it. Let's just say you had a great day, but maybe you got into an argument, or maybe it was some sort of like you had a great day, but it was some sort of misunderstanding that really kind of ticked you off, or just whatever. You had a great day, but got an email with a response that wasn't what you wanted, or whatever that is, or but however you would have preferred for, as you think back on your day and you go from scene to scene, whatever scene it is that you choose to revise, right? Maybe you want to revise the whole thing, but whatever scene it is that you choose to revise, what you're basically doing is you're looping it you're looping it in your mind until you fall asleep, but you're replaying it in the version that you would have preferred it to have gone, okay? So instead of getting that, whatever it was, that email with the, negative response, or, instead of having maybe lost a game, maybe you revise it that you won the game, or instead of having allowed someone to tick you off and pull you into an argument, or you starting an argument, whatever, right? Maybe you revise it that never happened, okay? Or that, it went a different way, or, but whatever that is, that revision it is that you would have preferred, you basically loop it until you fall asleep. Replay it, but you're replaying it, but you're replaying it in the version, the scene that you would have preferred until you fall asleep, okay? That's the first way. And then also, you guys stay tuned, because we're going to talk about people that actually did this and like what their experiences were, which is like, wow. Okay. But the second way would be like, let's just say, the second way would be if you don't choose to do this before bedtime, right? It is actually preferred to do this before bedtime, to really kind of set that into your subconscious, really subliminally set in that scenario. But if you don't do it that way, it would be to like set your timer. You can set your timer for maybe about 10-15 minutes. Don't fall asleep, but you can close your eyes or leave your eyes open, but you're going to actually take a minute to revise that scene and loop it and loop it for until the timer goes off, but make sure that you'll know when it's effective, when you really feel it. Maybe, you re-looping it gives you a sense of calm, or a sense of peace, or a sense of satisfaction, but you want to really like feel that, and maybe do that a couple of times throughout the day. So maybe you're doing that for about maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but take a minute out of the day to re-loop it, but you're re-looping it in the version that you would have preferred, and just do that a few times throughout the day. But it is preferred, the Neville Goddard way, to do it before you go to sleep and really set that into your subliminal, your subconscious. Okay. Now for the fun stuff, we talk about some of the experiences. Okay. So some of this stuff is just mind blowing. I'm just like, what? So Neville Goddard, he talks about, actually putting this into practice, but it was like where he and his wife were playing, I think it was like tennis or something like that, and his wife twisted her ankle, or she hurt herself while they were playing, and they both put that into practice of imagining that it went a different way. And his wife, like, I think they said something about like it started healing like really like at a unusually like fast rate. Like, I don't know if it was like she was like healed in like a day or two or something that should have taken like weeks, if not months, something that should have taken like, if not weeks or months to have healed literally in only like a matter of a few days. So that's Neville Goddard's example. Another is a woman who felt like she moved. She had gifts for her grandson, something where she had, I don't know if she had her house taken from her or something like that, but it was like an older woman that had bought like a dozen gifts for her grandson, had it stored and packed out throughout her house, and never got a chance to give it to her grandson. But she put this Neville Goddard's method into practice, where she was nightly imagining getting letters from her son in the mail saying, you know, thank you for my gifts. We, you know, miss you. We'd love to see you. Blah, 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 blah. Love you so much. Miss you. You know, thank you, blah, blah, you know, all of those, like, you know, really miss you, love you, love to see you, and things like that. Like, I think like she hadn't seen her grandson in a very long time, or something along those lines. And she did this for 7 days. By the 8th day, she received a letter in the mail from her grandson, and the woman described it as being almost verbatim the way that she memorized it, the way that she revised it. Okay. Which is just like mind blowing. And then I think there was one where a guy talks about having had like a very like negative relationship with his father, and his father passed, and just whenever he would think about his dad, he would have like sadness, but also a lot of really negative, like just memories, and, you know, never feeling loved enough and things like that from his dad. And he put Neville Goddard's, you know, theory into practice, where he, you know, did the imaginal acts of, you know, his dad telling him, you know, I love you, I'm sorry, da 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 da, you know, really just making him feel very loved, and his dad apologizing, and just all of those really, really, you know, positive things. And sure enough, he finds a letter. They find some letter many years after the dad has passed, some random letter that his dad wrote to him that had all of the things that he had imagined, right? That imagined, you know, that he had, you know, put into as like, you know, a memory of his dad actually verbally telling him, was actually written in that letter. That, you know, dusty letter, old letter, hidden somewhere in the old house. Many years later, they find that written out, you know, almost verbatim, all of the things that he would have liked to have heard from his dad, that he kept putting into that imaginal act. So a lot of that stuff to me is just like, wow, very mind blowing. But if you guys try this out, I just think, like I say, whenever I come across, like I say, I love this because it's almost like a rabbit hole of just like manifestation techniques and quantum like theories. And for manifestation, it's just really mind blowing. So I'm always really happy, excited whenever I hear about something to share it with you guys. You guys leave lots of comments. If you guys tried this or have tried this before, let me know. And remember, like I say, we are a community and we are growing out here, you guys. Love you guys so much. And remember that a comment that you leave could actually be super helpful, useful to the next person that comes along and reads it. So make sure that you leave lots of comments down below. Okay, you guys, love you guys. I will see you on the next video. Bye.